Five California airports together handle over 150 million passengers every year, roughly 70% of the state's entire air traffic. That's why they're spending $49 billion to expand, modernize, and partially replace critical airport infrastructure, simultaneously and without shutting down a single gate for even one day. We're not talking about cosmetic upgrades. Terminals designed in the 1920s are being pushed to handle 10 times their intended capacity. Infrastructure built in the 1960s is now groaning under the weight of post-pandemic travel surges. So how do you rebuild the backbone of a state's aviation system while keeping it running at full capacity the entire time? California isn't just home to busy airports. It concentrates aviation pressure at a national scale. The state hosts 4 of America's busiest airports, and several of them are hitting capacity limits at the same time. Sacramento International Airport handled nearly 13 million passengers in 2023, then grew another 5%, now sitting above pre-pandemic levels. San Francisco International Airport processes more than 50 million passengers a year, operating as a major global gateway for tech, finance, and international travel. And San Diego International Airport runs the busiest single-runway airport in the United States. But the real problem isn't demand, it's constraint. California's airports are boxed in physically, politically, and geographically. San Diego is hemmed in by downtown and the Bay. San Francisco sits on reclaimed fill, introducing seismic risk and flood exposure. Hollywood Burbank Airport is still operating out of a terminal footprint that dates back nearly a century. And Sacramento is growing faster than its existing infrastructure was ever designed to support. Post-pandemic travel didn't just return, it surged, pushing already strained systems into daily stress. Delays, congestion, and operational bottlenecks became structural, not seasonal. The stakes are enormous. California's tech economy, tourism industry, government travel, and global connectivity all depend on airports that simply can't pause operations. So when federal infrastructure funding opened a narrow window, California didn't patch the system, it committed to transforming it. And nowhere is that challenge more extreme than the most constrained airport on the list. Let's start there. San Diego International Airport operates under what might be the most challenging constraint in American aviation. It's the busiest single-runway airport in America, processing 12.2 million passengers annually through a terminal designed for 2.5 million back in 1967. And there's absolutely nowhere to expand. Downtown San Diego sits to the north, the Bay blocks the west, highways and buildings surround everything else. No room for a second runway. No space to push the terminal footprint outward. The result? Packed waiting areas, overwhelmed baggage systems, and security lines stretched to the breaking point. The solution is a $3.8 billion complete replacement of Terminal 1. We're talking 30 new gates total, 19 in Phase 1, 11 in Phase 2, compared to the old 19 gates. That's 111,480 square meters of new terminal space. But the centerpiece is something they're calling the Luminous Wave, a 274-meter-long curved glass facade standing 9.75 meters tall, assembled from nearly 700 custom panels designed to reflect the San Diego Ocean. It's architectural ambition meeting operational necessity. The infrastructure going in behind that glass facade is equally impressive. A 5,200-space parking garage with 10% of spaces equipped with EV charging stations. A dual-level roadway system that separates departure and arrival traffic to ease congestion from 45,000 daily cars on Harbor Drive. A 3-lane airport access road running directly from Laurel Street to the terminal. 13 security gates with automated screening technology. An underground fuel hydrant system replacing the old truck-based fueling method. Faster, safer, cleaner. A new 1,920-meter taxiway, plus a shifted taxiway A for faster ground operations. Phase 1A opened in September 2025, just 4 months ago. Phase 1B will bring 3 additional gates online in spring 2026. Once Phase 1B is complete, the old Terminal 1 will be demolished. Phase 2 will add 8 more gates by early 2028, with total project completion targeted for 2028. The engineering challenge is mind-bending. You're building adjacent to an operating terminal while aircraft take off just meters away. The site has 1,600 workers daily, logging 1.7 million labour hours so far. They're using building information modelling to coordinate 500 contractor companies in real time. Noise reductions, safety zones, constant coordination with air traffic control, every beam placement is timed to avoid flight operations. One wrong move and you've got a construction crane in an active taxiway. The community impact extends beyond the airport itself. This project created 15,000 to 20,000 construction jobs. More than 200 homes near the airport are receiving noise mitigation upgrades through a $26 million FAA Quieter Home program. New windows, doors, and insulation. The terminal will run on 100% renewable energy. A rainwater collection system features a 900,000-gallon underground tank that prevents runoff into San Diego Bay. They're targeting LEED Silver certification. There's even space reserved between terminals for a future public transit station, with an all-electric shuttle service already connecting to Old Town Transit Center. Now let's talk about the oldest facility getting the newest makeover. Hollywood Burbank Airport has been operating terminal infrastructure that dates from the 1920s, nearly a century-old facility trying to serve 3.1 million modern passengers. It doesn't meet current FAA safety and operational standards. But here's the twist. Burbank voters and travelers genuinely love the old-school character of this place. So, what do? You spend $1.3 billion on a complete terminal replacement, not renovation, total rebuild. We're talking 355,000 square feet, 14 gates maintaining the existing gate cap per noise agreement with the community. The design features striking glass architecture with a swooping roof canopy that evokes a silver screen, nodding to Burbank's Hollywood-adjacent identity. New parking facilities, a replacement airline cargo building, new maintenance facilities for ground service equipment, a modern, centralized security checkpoint. But here's what makes Burbank special. They're preserving open-air stairboarding despite building an ultra-modern $1.3 billion facility. Most airports race toward jet bridges and enclosed boarding. Burbank is intentionally keeping outdoor plane boarding. Why? California aviation heritage, passenger preference, unique character. They're proving that modernization doesn't require a generic airport experience. You can build 1920s nostalgia with cutting-edge design. The timeline shows real progress. Voter approval came through Measure B in November 2016. Demolition of the old terminal began in December 2023. Demolition alone cost $24.4 million. Steel framing became visible in April 2025. Completion is targeted for late 2026, making Burbank the first of the 5 to finish. Why does a 3.1 million passenger airport matter in a story about California's aviation future? Because it proves that even smaller regional airports need billion-dollar transformations to survive. The oldest terminal in California is becoming the newest facility in the state. And Burbank is demonstrating that airports can modernize while preserving character and community identity, setting a template for other regional airports facing similar aging infrastructure challenges. Sacramento International Airport tells a different story. This isn't about catching up to aging infrastructure, it's about preparing ahead for explosive growth. Building on that, it's now California's 4th busiest airport behind LAX, SFO, and San Diego. Southwest Airlines is the top carrier. The growth drivers are clear: state capital government travel, expanding tech industry, and tourism. Sacramento is unique. While infrastructure is currently strained, they're the only airport building ahead of the curve. The SM Forward program represents a $1.3 billion investment phase. New gates expanding terminal capacity, a pedestrian walkway connecting terminals for easier passenger flow, a massive 5,500 space parking structure, a multi-lane roadway system to ease terminal access congestion, new ground transportation centers, all designed to handle current growth. But SM Forward is just phase one of something much bigger. Sacramento has a $41.3 billion master plan expansion under development, planning for capacity through the 2040s. They're not positioning Sacramento as just a regional airport, they're building a major West Coast hub. Construction began in Q4 2024. The parking garage will open Q4 2026. Concourse B expansion began in Q4 2025 and will open Q4 2028, the longest timeline of the four main airports. Sacramento is the only airport on this list still in early growth trajectory, building for future demand rather than current capacity crisis. It shows California isn't just reacting, they're planning big, building in phases, and staying ahead of the growth curve. San Francisco International operates on a completely different scale. We're talking about a $12.5 billion total capital improvement program, the largest of the 5 airports. SFO processed 50.2 million passengers in 2023 and broke records in 2024 and 2025. The Wall Street Journal rated it the #1 major U.S. airport in 2022. United Airlines dominates with around 45% market share, making Terminal 3 their West Coast hub. SFO competes directly with Seattle-Tacoma, also at 50 million passengers, and LAX at 75 million for Pacific routes. The Terminal 3 West modernization costs $2.6 billion alone. They're renovating 650,000 square feet of the western half of Terminal 3 and adding 200,000 square feet of new space for food, retail, and lounges. An expanded security checkpoint brings modern screening technology. Complete seismic retrofit addresses vulnerabilities exposed by the 1989 Loma Prieta earthquake. A 6-story building attaching to the international terminal will house United Airline lounges, likely Polaris and Club, plus operational offices. The Courtyard 4 connector creates a much larger passageway between the international terminal and Terminal 3. Mezzanine-level check-in serves AirTrain arrivals. Eventually, United will consolidate 2 separate Terminal 3 check-in areas into one. The Terminal 3 West represents only 21% of SFO's total capital program. The other $9.85 billion goes to infrastructure most passengers never see. Start with the sanitary waste treatment plant, $1.66 billion. SFO operates its own Mel Leong wastewater plant on airport property built in the 1970s. It treats sanitary and industrial waste and produces recycled water for airport use. The capacity needs upgrading for current operations. Shoreline protection represents another massive cost. SFO is built on fill in San Francisco Bay. They need 30,000 feet of berms, concrete walls, and vinyl sheet piles for protection against flooding and sea level rise, meeting FEMA 100-year flood compliance standards. The recycled water system costs $143 million. It reuses treated wastewater throughout the airport, serving 35 acres of landscaping, street sweeping, and dust control. Then there are runway and taxiway improvements, a $35.9 million bus maintenance facility, power and lighting upgrades, and $296.4 million for international terminal roof replacement. All of this is 100% airport-specific infrastructure, not shared with city systems. Why do these hidden costs matter? Because airports are self-contained cities. Every system must be built, maintained, and upgraded independently. That's why SFO's capital program is nearly double San Diego's entire project budget. Construction innovation keeps the airport running. Prefabricated modules get installed overnight to minimize disruption. Temporary walkways maintain passenger flow. They're targeting LEED Platinum certification using low-carbon steel and concrete, waste heat recovery, and displacement ventilation. And here's why SFO stays rated #1. Their Fly Quiet program rewards airlines for reducing aircraft noise. Minimal intercom announcements inside terminals, sound-reducing insulation throughout. The result is a quieter, calmer airport experience than competitors. Terminal 3 West started in August 2024 and will open fall 2027, with the 6-story building opening early 2028. The full capital program runs through fiscal 2029. Funding comes almost entirely from revenue bonds, only 1.2% federal funding. The trade-off? Landing and terminal fees rose 8% from 2023 to 2024 to fund these projects. And then there's LAX, the obvious one. 75 million passengers annually, 50% more than SFO or Seattle. A $30 billion capital improvement program. We covered the full transformation last year, but here's what changed and what's coming next. Delta Skyway completed in August 2023 a $2.3 billion project connecting Terminals 2, 3 and Tom Bradley International. The automated People Mover train system opens June 2026, just 5 months away. It's part of the $5.5 billion LAMP, Landside Modernization Program, connecting all terminals to the rental car facility and metro. Originally scheduled for 2023, it was delayed 3 years, but will be critical for reducing roadway congestion. The ATMP Roadway Improvement Project cost $1.5 billion and received $1 billion in additional funding in November 2025. They're reconfiguring 4.4 miles of roadway entering and exiting the airport. Ingress roadways must finish before the 2028 Summer Olympics. The world will be watching Los Angeles airport performance. Egress roadways will complete in 2030. During construction, they'll remove the iconic theme building support pylons. Terminal modernization continues across the airport. Terminal C is getting a $3 billion complete overhaul, removing 400-plus columns, raising the roof, all new facilities. Terminal 5 demolition and modernization is underway. Tom Bradley International Terminal refresh begins in January 2026. The future pipeline includes a $15 billion plus airfield modernization program in planning. Terminal 9 with 15 gates plus Concourse 0 with 9 gates will add nearly 3 million square feet of space. Here's the scale comparison. LAX alone represents $30 billion. San Diego, Sacramento, and Burbank combined total $6.4 billion. LAX represents 61% of the entire $49 billion California investment. A single airport is spending more than 3 major airports combined. We broke down the full transformation of Los Angeles International Airport in a dedicated video, from the People Mover to the Olympic deadline, if you want the deeper story. But the real story isn't one airport. It's what happens when every major hub in a state hits those limits at the same time. 5 airports, almost $50 billion, 0 shutdowns. This is the largest coordinated airport modernization in California history. This isn't reactive maintenance responding to failures. It's proactive transformation building for the next 50 years. The post-pandemic reality shows Sacramento with 5% growth and all airports hitting record traffic. The timeline cascade shows results. Burbank will finish first in late 2026, San Diego Phase 2 in 2028, Sacramento Concourse B in 2028, SFO Terminal 3 in 2027-2028, and LAX Roadway in 2030. The engineering achievement is staggering. Every single airport stays fully operational during construction, no closures. Over 35,000 construction jobs created across 5 projects. Passengers are already seeing results. 30% faster security at SFO, 100% renewable electricity at San Diego. They're changing the engine mid-flight at unprecedented scale. But here's the national question. Can other states replicate California's model? A blueprint is emerging. Seattle, Denver, and Minneapolis are executing similar transformations. California isn't just rebuilding airports, it's proving how to modernize aviation infrastructure without shutting down the economy. Which airport transformation was needed most? Let us know in the comments, and make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more Mega Build stories.